A program designed to help house the homeless is at the center of debate in Scottsdale this summer after some residents and business owners there voiced concern that asylum seekers and people displaced from downtown Phoenix's large homeless encampment, dubbed the Zone, might end up in their neighborhoods. Reporting from the Arizona Republic has shown that's largely not the case, but that hasn't quelled concern. The program only serves single-parent families, seniors as well, allowing them to live in a hotel in McCormick Ranch for up to 4 months. And based on its first year, it's been a pretty resounding success. Here to talk with us more about it is Scottsdale City Council member Solange Whitehead. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thanks. Good to be here.
So I want to begin with your description of how this program works and sort of what you've seen it do so far.
So I do want to say that it has not been controversial, and it has not always been in McCormick Ranch. In the summer of 2021, as a pilot program, our staff came to the council and said, let's try to house, some people, get them off the street during the summer, and provide wraparound services and jobs and see how it goes. And that first summer, we had police, we had security there, and then we quickly realized we didn't need it. And the success rate of moving those people into permanent housing really proved that this was a concept that we wanted to make somewhat permanent.
Right. And tell us the success rate. It was in the 80s?
84%.
Wow.
So I think that's the key. And so when I mention no controversy, once people understand what the program is doing, who we're targeting, and the success rate, I only hear support for it.
Okay. So some residents started voicing concern over this earlier in the summer when the city accepted a $940,000 grant from the state to keep this program going. Were you surprised when those concerns started to surface?
Well, it made me realize that the city has to do a better job at getting press releases out earlier. But yeah, I think that the program was so successful and wasn't generating any news that people didn't realize it already existed. And in fact, the hotel in question in McCormick Ranch, that program's been going on for about a year. Mm-hmm. There were questions about some changes to occupancy. We received clarification from the state director of the Department of Housing. The city program can accept applicants from the zone, but we're not required to. The key is the demographics, the people that we accept hasn't changed. So we are focused on the candidates that are families, single moms with children, or senior citizens. And they have to meet a variety of criteria, such as not having drug issues. We're looking for those people that we know we can help quickly and get off the streets, and they are the ones who are vulnerable and get into housing.
How is the vetting process done?
The vetting process is done through one of our contracted partners, and then our staff verifies. And, so since summer 2021, again, we've had 84% success rate. We've seen a reduction in homelessness in Scottsdale, so this is one of the many avenues that we've gotten there. And, of course, we've had 0 calls for police service.
Yeah. So, as we said, the concern tended to be about whether or not the program is housing migrants seeking asylum who were impacted by the lifting of Title 42, whether it was helping people relocated from the zone in downtown Phoenix. Republican Representative Matt Gress had addressed this as well. He said he thought the program was unlawful, and the city sort of walked that back, it sounded like. Tell us, what was the change there?
Yeah, I think it's semantics. So, no, I think Representative Gress thought there was some possible, violation. There was not. We received a letter from the Department of Housing. It was fine. The city, the council approved the program, and then our staff reviews and tweaks programs. We're very, very good at getting a certain demographic group, as described, off the streets. And we decided to focus on that. And so we, as a city, decided not to accept Title 42. These are legal migrants that are really just waiting for transportation, usually to another state. Mm-hmm. But we decided with our limited rooms and our resources, we're going to focus on Arizona residents that we feel we can move into permanent housing.
So a slight shift there.
A slight shift.
Did you think the program was unlawful?
Oh, no. And that, the Department of Housing, our staff, we're a very thorough city. So, no. But it's okay. That is a politician's job, is to query. And he did.
So I want to spend the last few minutes here, Solange, talking about the sort of the broader landscape in terms of homelessness in Scottsdale, right? Like, I think Scottsdale has other programs in place that I want to talk about. But I mean, there's been criticism for years about not just Scottsdale, but lots of other cities in the valley not taking on, shouldering any of the burden when it comes to addressing homelessness. All of it lands in downtown Phoenix, where we see the zone. How do you see that sort of relationship working? What would you like to see happen?
Well, I think we've seen a really big shift in the last few years, and I'll give Mayor Ortega some credit there. There's a lot of cooperation among cities. I think just as any other problem that we're tackling, this is one that we have to all win together. And so the city of Scottsdale has embarked. This program is brand new for Scottsdale. We are looking at building on one of our city buildings, low-income housing. That's another first. And the city council, I believe it was unanimous, approved funding in the budget for that. And so that's moving forward. We have really expanded the number of landlords that accept vouchers, because what we had is we had vouchers and we had people that wanted to use those vouchers to get into apartments, but we didn't have landlords or apartments available. So we've expanded that program, and we have also expanded the rental assistance program. And so we're doing a lot. But I really always stress to people that when we provide these services, not only do we help people who are vulnerable, and we reduce calls for police when people are on the street but we're also investing upfront and saving tax dollars at the end, because homelessness is expensive, and we're very focused on actually preventing homelessness as well.
Why the shift in recent years? Like, have you also seen the kind of rise in homelessness in Scottsdale that we've talked so much about in downtown Phoenix?
Yes, I mean, we've had an increase. Like I said, this past year, we were the only city to decrease. I think it's just the nature of the city council. The city council's focused on human services in general, among other important issues.
What else would you like to see happen? What are you pushing for on this front?
Well, I'm really excited about this low-income housing. I have promoted the idea of the Department of Housing expanding funding, and I think it actually goes through the DES, but the Department of Housing, the Housing Trust Fund, has been expanded with a lot of dollars. We would really like to see the use of those dollars for rental assistance. I'm a volunteer at the senior center. I know what $100 a month can do for a senior, and we're seeing these spikes in rent. So we need rental assistance, because that is what helps people today. Apartments take, 3 years maybe to build. And the other thing I would like to see is some way to get the thousands and thousands of apartments that are approved. These developers have the entitlements, and we just need to get those buildings built, those apartments built.
All right. Solange Whitehead, Scottsdale City Council member, joining us. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.